Hey, it's Rich Tehrani with TMC Net. It is our Editors Week this week in Silicon Valley, California. It's November 2016, and on our program is Stuart McLaren. He's with ST Microelectronics. And Stuart, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great, thanks, Rich.
Good, good. So, a lot of people probably know your company because it's been around for decades, and the microelectronics kind of gives it away as to what you do. But I figured, give me an overview from your perspective of your company's products and services.
So, ST is a broadline semiconductor company. Our focus applications are smart driving and IoT. And we have a broad range of technologies. So in the IoT space, we have all the technologies that are required. So we have processing and security, we have sensing and actuate, we have connectivity, we have signal conditioning and energy management. So we have a broad range of technologies that are very appropriate in both the IoT space and also the smart driving space.
Fantastic. And so you obviously have an opportunity to see a lot of the developer challenges out there in the market based on what you do. What are some of the issues that they're dealing with?
So if we look at IoT really has four main areas that people are focused on. There's smart industry, there's smart city, there's smart home, and there's smart things. And if you look at those in those areas, there's probably thousands, probably tens of thousands of different types of applications
Sure.
and devices that you could build in those areas. But if you step back and you look, they all have some general components that they share. So they all require processing and security. They all require sensing and actuating. They all require signal conditioning, they all require connectivity, and they all require energy management. Of course, in those diverse applications, there's different requirements. So some in the processing area, they may require ultra-low power to high performance. In connectivity, they may require anything from a range of 10 centimeters to 10 kilometers. In the signal conditioning, they may require looking from nanoamps to amps, or kiloamps in power. It could be nanowatts to kilowatts. So with an ST, we have all of those technologies that you need. But even with those technologies, you still need an environment that people can put them together. Because as I said, there's thousands of different applications. You think about all the axes and all the different areas I was talking about.
Sure.
So we have a development environment that makes it very simple for people to rapidly prototype all the different technologies that we have with an ST.
And so do you say that that's the major differentiator between your company and others and why your customers choose you?
So I think the two main differentiators are, first of all, we have all the technologies within ST, all the ones that I've just mentioned, but we also have the environment that makes it easy for people to rapidly prototype. So we have an environment called the STM32 Open Development Environment, STM32 ODE. And that's built on the successful STM32 microcontroller family. It's a Cortex-M microcontroller family that we have within ST. And also the STM32 Cube software that allows people to very easily move around inside the microcontroller family. And built upon that, we have a modular hardware and software environment that allow people to pick the technologies and microcontroller that they need. So we have an STM32 Nucleo board that is available with any of the Cortex-M microcontroller families that we have. So from M0s all the way up to M7, from ultra-low power to high performance. And then once they've selected the microcontroller they want to use on a Nucleo board, we have the X-Nucleo expansion boards, and they cover the technology areas that I was talking about before. So connectivity, sensing, moving and actuating, signal conditioning, and energy management. So people can choose, again, within the broad technologies we have, choose the X-Nucleo board that makes sense, and they can stack it on top of the Nucleo boards. We also have the STM32 Cube-based software and Cube expansion software that makes it easy for people to use those X-Nucleo boards and Nucleo boards to rapidly prototype. They can plug them together. We have getting started guides, and people can be up and running. We also have vertical function packs as well that allow people to take combinations of the Nucleo and X-Nucleo boards and build stacks with them, and so they can put together the combination they need for their IoT environment.
Wow, so really, I mean, you're soup to nuts. You've got all the really all the solutions that developers and companies need to build out their solutions.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's exciting. So is there any news, anything, some of the things you might have said were new, but in terms of new products, new things that you're doing?
So a couple of weeks ago, we announced the latest in our STM32 family. It's an STM32H7. It's a 400 megahertz Cortex M7 product. So ST was first in the market with the Cortex M7 product 2 years ago, the same time that ARM announced the M7 core. And a couple of weeks ago, we announced an even faster version of that. So it's a 400 megahertz Cortex M7 device built in 40 nanometer technology. And it's undoubtedly the fastest Cortex M microcontroller in the market, and probably the fastest microcontroller in the marketplace.
So typically there's only one company that you hear about when you hear about Moore's Law in terms of just who invented it and the whether or not we're going to be able to adhere to Moore's Law. I'm just curious from your perspective, is your company also seeing similar Moore's Law type performance increases?
So we have a very broad range of technologies within ST. We have the kind of technologies you're talking about for high performance logic. And we have some leading edge technologies within ST, but we also have a range of other technologies which are not really the kind of technologies that people think about when they think about Moore's Law. But if you think about analog and power, those are areas where there are very different process technologies, and they're process technologies that not a lot of people have, but we also have the expertise in there. So we have the ability to offer high density logic based on those process technologies, but we also have the, as I said, you can be looking at energy management from nanowatts to kilowatts, and as you can imagine, the kind of process technologies you need for that we have as well within ST.
But on the higher end, you're probably seeing the same kinds of performance because all the chip makers have to be competitive. So I would imagine it's similar.
Yeah. We have a broad range of process technologies going from, as I say, the high density logic ones through in microcontrollers we have embedded flash technology, and then we have the power and analog technologies as well.
That's great. Is there anything else we should know about the company?
Well, as I said, the big exciting announcement we had recently was the STM32H7. So we continue to lead in the Cortex M microcontrollers. We were the first with ARM to introduce Cortex M microcontrollers in 2007. Since then, we've got the broadest portfolio on the market. We go from ultra-low power microcontrollers all the way up to the very highest performance.
That's excellent. Well, we really appreciate you being here, and good luck with your continued success in the IoT and smart device markets and beyond.
Okay, well, thank you very much.